Coming up, dates have been revealed for Halloween Horror Nights 31 at Universal Orlando, and some tickets are now available to purchase. We're going to talk about that and more on this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I'm your host, Craig Williams. Today, I'm joined alongside by my co-host, Ryno.
Hello.
Hello. We are going to have a lot of fun this week talking about Halloween Horror Nights yet again. I mean, when it happened last week, you were like, no way is it going to happen a second time in a row. Well, guess what? Here we are. And it's happening 2 weeks in a row. If we have time, we might do some of that Hollywood talk that we were considering adding onto the show last week, but we'll really wait and see what happens with the time on this because I don't want to run overly long, but we're going to have a lot of fun having this discussion about Halloween Horror Nights tickets. I already know it, but before we get to that, I do need to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, please consider booking a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money and you get the support of a Dreams Unlimited Travel agent. Heck, they can even help you purchase your Halloween horror night tickets right now. They can help you right now. So to get a free no obligation quote on your vacation or buy those Halloween horror night tickets, head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Now, Ryno, I feel like this was serendipitous news because I don't believe either one of us got over to Universal to go specifically to Poseidon's Fury like we wanted to. You did. You got over there.
Completely forgot.
Yeah, it's fine.
I did do a shopping video because I feel like I want to show some love to Universal, and then I was like, until you just said Poseidon's Fury, I was like, oh yeah, whoops.
Yeah. And I went over there, but I went to Universal Studios Florida, so I can't even say that I was in Islands of Adventure for it. So we will get around to that. But this week, as I said, we have to talk about Halloween Horror Nights. The dates and tickets have been revealed. And Ryno, this year we are looking at 43 nights. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
43.
43. Okay, we're going to jump ahead. That's probably the right way to do it. 43 nights of Halloween Horror Nights this year, running Friday, September 2nd, all the way through Monday, October 31st. So, and of course it breaks down. There's some Wednesdays right from the start, starts off the weekend like normal, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then right back to it on Wednesday, September 7th, running all the way through Sunday, then skipping a week, having it on a Wednesday. But then I believe it is Wednesdays through the rest of the entire event until the final weekend, which is Wednesday through Monday night. So more Wednesdays than ever before has helped it to get to this number of 43. And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm all for it.
The more weeknights, the better. I feel like those are the easier nights to navigate. So I am all, like you said, all for it. I'm actually bummed we won't be here that first Wednesday for it to see what the first early September Wednesday would be like. But it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah. We've been stressing about this for a while because we assumed that the first day of the event was going to be September 2nd for a while, just based on how they've been doing it. It's usually been the first weekend of September now, which that is September 2nd. Seems extremely early, but it's just the way the calendar falls. But for Disney fans, which we include ourselves in that group, the very next weekend, September 9th through the 11th, is when they're having the D23 Expo in Anaheim. So it would have been the hardest decision to ever have to make between the first night of Halloween Horror Nights and going to D23. But I'm glad we don't have to make that decision. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Orlando who would have had to make that decision as well, too. A very tough one. But September 2nd, they're still not pushing it as far as Disney does in terms of starting in August, and who knows if we'll ever see the day for that. But I'm happy with that date, and it's not too early, not too late. To me, it's just right.
Just right.
Yeah.
Just right. This is the way I want it. September 1st rolls around. Boom. I'm in Halloween. Actually, for me, I've decided, August 1st and forward will be Halloween celebrations for me, but I do accept September 1st, all September, all of October, completely filled with Halloween. Blessings, cursings, whatever. I guess it's Halloween, which is like cursings on everyone for this. Thank you.
I'll accept either as an answer, to be quite honest with you. And so we just didn't get the dates. It is also revealed which tickets are available for sale right now. And I mean, this is already a day late. We're recording this the day that the tickets came out for our normal release day. But once again, this is opening up with single day tickets available on top of the Unmasking the Horror Tour and then RIP tours. Those are all available to purchase as of right now. Not yet available to purchase are multi-night tickets, including frequent fear passes, the Rush of Fear pass. None of those are available yet, but they will be available in the future. Do not freak out yet. It's coming. It's taken a little while, as it did last time around, but they will be here. We will have those options available for people who like to go to the event more than just one single night and do it in an affordable fashion. But right now, single night tickets, as well as those RIP tours that I mentioned, and then, of course, too, the Unmasking the Horror tours that are lights on experiences looking at the houses during the daytime before the event actually kicks off. So not in terms of like kicks off early. I mean, every night before it kicks off for the night. But with that, single night tickets, again, they are available now. I don't need to repeat it for the 900th time, but I will. Pricing starts at $73.99 per person plus tax. And so
it's more than last time. Yeah.
Yes. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but it's an increase, I believe, in terms of the price for a single night ticket, but overall, it's not super extreme. And what I mean with that is pricing starts at $73.99. Like on that first Friday on September 2nd, the pricing is $83.99 because it's a little bit busier. On that first Saturday, it's $97.99, and then on Sunday, $73.99. And basically every week, Wednesday night through the entire event is $73.99. Thursdays are mostly, it's kind of back and forth between $73.99 and $76.99. Fridays are between $86.99, $92.99, $89.99. But the most expensive dates are in October for single night tickets. That's on Saturday the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd and the 29th. Those Saturday nights, tickets are $104.99 per person plus tax. So, that's not an awful, like that range isn't too terrible when you think about it. Cheapest tickets being $73.99, and then the most expensive tickets being $104.99. And, then from there you add in frequent fear passes, Rush of Fear passes. It gets to the point where like the frequent fear pass where you add Fridays on, Ryno, what did we pay? About $150 for that ticket last year? Maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I think it was just under
$200. Was it $189.99?
Yeah, it was close to $200 because we didn't have. It felt like a big leap because the year before that it had been like 130 or something like that, and then it went up that big jump, which we had expected it to go up way more than it did. So it wasn't bad. And we did do the ticket that included all nights except for Saturdays. So I 100% got my money's worth out of my ticket. So there's no question about that. But yeah, I want to say the ticket price this year is about a $5 increase on those cheap days because the The less expensive days last year, I think, were somewhere around like $67. I could be wrong. And then the most expensive day I know is definitely like around $100. So it feels like it's about a $5 increase. But I still think it's pretty reasonably priced, and for what you're getting out of the event, because they're still doing. I mean, I don't want to say what's going on if we haven't talked about it yet.
Well,
in terms of houses and shows and everything.
Exactly. Well, we'll get to everything. I thank you for talking, because I had enough time to look up the Frequent Fear Pass from last year. Ours that included everything, the Frequent Fear Pass Plus that included every night except the Saturdays after the first Saturday. I think it also included the last.
No,
Saturday
it included
well,
the
too.
First and the last. Yeah, the first weekend and the last weekend. Yeah,
but didn't include most Saturdays. No, last year they didn't do annual pass discounts, something they've always done in the past before. Last year they didn't. That ticket was $189.99. So after tax and such, it was $202.34.
That's right. Okay.
And so to compare that, though, I found my email from when I bought it in the same pass in 2019 with the annual pass discount of that one. Maybe it wasn't the same one, because this one just says Frequent Fear. So maybe I just did Frequent Fear that year, not
Yeah,
Plus.
I think in 2019 I didn't get the Friday pass. I think that was this year, because it was like being friends with Ken and Courtney. Our friend Ken is a teacher, and he has to go on like Friday nights, and he until later in the event he goes some weeknights. But yeah.
In 2019, I did not get the one with Fridays on it, and that one with the annual pass discount, it was $104.99. But in 2018, I did get the Frequent Fear Pass Plus, and that year that pass was $110.99. So, it has jumped up in price, but our Frequent Fear Pass Plus last year was $189.99. So I would expect similar pricing this year. Maybe another $10 more. Maybe it's at $199.
Yeah, it might just be $200. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, and
I you know what? If it's $200 and it includes the Friday night, I'm still gonna get it.
Exactly.
Worth it.
No, it is, and the one without Fridays in, that'll be a little bit cheaper, maybe $20 cheaper. And then Rush of Fear, that only includes the first 2 weeks of the event, that one will be even cheaper as well. And then for an extraordinary amount of money, not extraordinary, I don't want to be hyperbole involved in this, but for $400, then you get all nights. So there's always going to be options, and we'll give that pricing once it's available. I know a lot of people take advantage of it, especially people who travel from the United Kingdom and such, that are in town to do the event multiple nights. They rely on these multiple night tickets. So of course we're going to give you that information when it comes around, but pricing, it's not too out of control now. And within the pricing, it's a hard ticket event that happens after the park closes. For people who might not be familiar with the event, but if you're watching this, you probably are. Halloween Horror Nights begins roughly 6:30. Usually they open up the gates a little earlier, and then basically every night last year it was open till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So very late. You have 10 houses, 2 shows, and 5 scare zones all included, plus select rides are available, and that is Halloween Horror Nights. And last week on the show we went through the first speculation map that was released by HN Nightmares on Twitter, Horror Night Nightmares, and went over that. So go back and watch that episode for that. But again, this is just what's available in terms of dates and tickets right now. So I'm going to bring up next in my list of things just a little bit of dates and such in terms of the Behind the Screams, the Unmasking the Horror tour, as well as RIP tours. And I don't have one out in front of me. I'm not sure what happened to that one. Maybe this is the one I'm looking for. Is this the one? Hello, Ryno? Is this me I'm looking for? Hey, Ryno, talk about something else while I bring this up here.
I'm now I'm trying to look up and find the receipt for buying the pass. But you know why I don't have the receipt? I realized in 2019 I bought it in person. I remember standing at the gate, walking up and being like, I'd like to purchase the Frequent Fear Pass. That's why I don't know what it was.
Well, we definitely bought the same one. that year. So
Yeah.
So the price I gave.
That's why I'm not sure, because that's why I'm like, I feel like I paid more in 2019 than 100. And I don't know. Maybe I did. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I know we had the same ticket though in 2019 because you started buying them. I want to say in 2017 is when you started going with it might have even been 2018 when you started going.
Might have been 2018. Yeah, I think so.
And then after that, that's when we always had. You and I have always bought the same pass. And I think for some reason in 2019, we were just like, we're gonna downgrade. It's a lot of money. I don't know if what was going on that we decided that, but
it's crazy too, because I feel like in the history of the events of the years I've liked the most, I actually think 2019 will go down as that one where I'm like, I wish I could have just spent a couple more days there. And so it's one of those, right? But like in contrast, this last year, it got to the end of the event and I was like, my God, I've been here way too many times. But even toward the end, it was like, I still want to be here a little bit more. It's like I couldn't let it go at some point. But I finished off the event last year. Really, my friend Brandon went for the first time with his husband and mom, and they like wanted me to come with them. And I was like, oh, my pass, I forget what the day, but they all did RIP, and I was, or not RIP, but they did Express, and I was like, oh, my pass doesn't include Express, so they like bought me an Express ticket to go with them through everything. So I was like, okay. On my last night of the event, I basically just got to do every house. So I was like, okay, it was a good like full event that I could say goodbye, good day to you, sir.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. And actually, the more I think about it now too, I believe that in 2018. You didn't have the Fridays on yours either. I think I finally convinced you.
I don't think I would have in
past
2018.
time around. No, yeah. And so I think that might have been it too, where you were like that in 2018, you got the pass for the first time, because I've been buying it ever since once I quit Universal and I no longer got it included and as part of being an employee there. Then I started buying the frequent fear passes, and I've just kind of gone back and forth between adding Fridays and like on 2018, I know I added the Fridays because that's a lot of times when my wife and I would go to the event, and then you go up and down depending on the type of year. But this year, I'm having Fridays. I need those Fridays. TGI,
yeah,
baby.
Definitely doing Friday.
TGI. Yeah. But okay, we're gonna move on to the Unmasking the Horror tours that I talked about too. And you can now start booking those. They offer two different types of this tour. You either get 3 or 6 houses. And obviously the 3 house tours are cheaper than the 6 houses. But you do the 6 houses, you obviously see way more. If you only rely on the 3 house tour, you might not get to see your favorite. You might have to see that in 6. And of course, too, think about it this way. There's 10 houses, so it's impossible to see them all. So just keep that in mind with it too. But pricing for the 3 haunted house tour starts from $79.99, and that is per person plus tax. And I will say with that,
you have to have a ticket with that, right? Or no?
Yeah, theme park and or event admission is not included or required. Sorry, for the tours, no, you don't need that. For the daytime tours, theme park and or event admission is not included or required to participate in a tour. I haven't done this in years, but before the protocol was always that you started out in a Blue Man Group and you would enter in and just go backstage. And then when you finish, you leave the park. So you're not allowed to just randomly stroll throughout the park. So it's really just backstage. For RIP tours, which we will get to last, those you need to have Halloween Horror Nights admission plus then you also are paying for the tour, just like you would for a VIP tour. Anytime during the day you need your park admission, and then you're paying for the VIP tour on top of it. But for the 3 house tour, that pricing again starts at $79.99 per person plus tax. And the most expensive date I found for it, unless I screwed up on that, it's $109.99. And that's on the first weekend, like the first Saturday of the event. So that's, people people want to get in and see it. So it's very expensive at the beginning of the event, and it gets a little bit cheaper as it goes on and on other random days. And just to give you an idea of like the times on those days, for the 3-person or for the 3-house tour on Saturday the 3rd, the dates available, the times available on that date are 9:15 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 10 a.m., 12:15 p.m., 1 p.m., and 1:45. So, really early before the event starts off later on at night. And for the to counter that, though, again, that was just for the 3-person tour. Why do I keep calling it person? For the 3-house tour, it was that price. But then for the 6-house tour, it is obviously more expensive. That pricing starts at $129.99 per person. And the most expensive price that I found with that was $159.99, which it's still not extreme. And I know it seems like, yeah, it's a lot of money to just walk through these houses without the lights on and such. But, I did it only once. And it's not that I haven't wanted to do it again. It's that I literally drag my feet on it every single year until it's too late, and then I don't get to. It is so cool getting to see these houses with the lights on. It's just, you see the details. You're not being pushed through there, so you really get the time to take it all in. I really think if you're a fan of set design, you have to see it so you understand how they're doing everything. And on top of that too, it's really cool when you get to see it, during the night event where you get to see it with the full effects on, and then you see it in daytime and you're like, okay, that's how they do that. And it's so crazy how different it looks between the lights being off and on. So something that I do recommend if you're into that, but it is for that next level Halloween Horror Nights fan. It's not just for a basic person or for someone who's afraid to go through the houses, but wants to get an idea of what we're talking about every year with it. It's a great way for someone who's terrified of these things to get an idea of what happens just without the characters, of course.
I still, every year I say, I'm going to do it because I've never done one. And it's like what you said. I waited too long, or like, I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe this will have to be the year. This will have to be it. I don't know.
You know what?
I think it depends what the houses are. That's all for me.
Yeah. Ryno, I feel like I could convince myself to do it this year if the houses are good enough and the houses on the tour. Because that's it too. Like, you don't know ahead of time what houses you're seeing. You do once people start doing the tours and say, hey, this is what you're seeing in the 3-house tour and this is what you see in the 6-house tour. So once I see what houses are available, if it's one that I like really care about, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So, but we'll have to worry about that closer to the event. So the last thing that is currently on sale now that I want to talk about is the RIP tours. This is your guided tour that you get throughout Halloween Horror Nights. You can do private RIP tours with a group if you have it, and everyone in your group is people you know, or you can do it where you're in with strangers and you are guaranteed VIP admission to all the houses at least one time. And, its pricing, of course, varies by date. The base pricing for an RIP tour is $249.99 on a slow night. And like the most expensive price that I could find on like that Saturday, October 22nd, a very busy night, $399.99 per person for the RIP tour. And then, of course, you have to have your admission. So if you're buying a single night admission ticket for that night, that one was $104.99. So we are talking, you are over $500 to do a RIP tour on that Saturday night if you're just buying the single admission and then an RIP tour. But it also works out that you could also buy an express pass, and that hasn't been released yet. So we'll go over that later when it is released, but you can buy express pass for it too. And you can also get access to the express lines, but the VIP tours, they take you in a special entrance. So it truly is faster admission into the houses. So, with just getting express pass, you're getting an express line that can be very busy, where sometimes express lines get so backed up that you're waiting you're waiting, the longest I've ever waited in an express line for Halloween Horror Nights was like an extra, I think it was like 40 minutes. And just because it got so backed up. So it's RIP is definitely a fast way to see the event. We always get we've done one where we had friends that invited us to do an RIP tour, and that was fantastic. We've done them with media when the very first night happens. They take us around RIP tour style. It truly is. And it's a pretty incredible way to be able to do the event. I will say that. We've talked about it too, like saying like, okay, if we were to not get a frequent fear pass, would we want to just go all in on an RIP tour and a single night ticket? And I still feel like that's the thing to do. If you're not doing frequent fear, go all in and do the RIP tour.
I think if I didn't live here too, and once I've moved away or whatever, and like coming back, I think I'd try and be like, well, let me see if I can get, so many people together, and maybe we can like split it up and just have like a great night and just be like, okay, we're all committing. We're doing Halloween Horror Nights this week, and we're going to do it like this, and do something like that. Yep. That way you get the most, like you're guaranteed, I feel like, to get the most out of the event,
I think so too. And when you're with a like-minded group, it's even more helpful to navigate the event when everyone has the same like goals they want to do. You can help. If it's a private one, you can work with the guide to really be like, yeah, we would like to do it. We'd like to do this house next and that house next. Whereas when you do just the regular group RIP tours, they're going in the order they're supposed to. With the private ones, they will take you in the scheduled order, but you can also talk to them, and they'll help move some things around as well too. So it's not personal.
It's not the number of houses, right? It's the amount of time.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can try, and if you're moving quick enough, you could maybe wiggle in a repeat, right?
Yeah, with the private ones, you definitely can, because they have like bar stops, and if you want to keep stopping at the bar, that screws up the amount of time that you have. Yeah, you can screw yourselves over on that one. With the regular tours, there are scheduled bar stops, but really they're more about they want to get you through those 10 houses and then a show. So it's much more strict on that form because you're with a group. It's not just you and your friends that are there, so they kind of, they have to think about everyone involved in it. So it's something definitely to consider. But Ryno, I think that's it for the information that was recently released on Halloween Horror Nights with the dates and tickets. So I'm going to leave it unless there's something I missed. Was there?
I don't think so. No, it was just that the frequent fear passes aren't out yet, and we wait with bated breath until they come out.
Yep. And of course, we spent probably 10 minutes too long talking about frequent fear passes on this show, but that's just kind of what happens when you get to us. We're two people that we want to talk about the things that we want to talk about.
I want to know where I'm going to be living my life in September and October. No.
It's my money, and I need it now. Yeah. So with that, we have a little bit of time left, Ryno. So should we talk about Hollywood just real quick? Should we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did they? It's because they announced their dates too, right?
I actually will be honest. I have not been paying attention to Hollywood news today.
Also, I know you didn't say it, but I did see on Instagram. So if you don't layer in a picture, that's fine because it's not like it's our picture or anything like that. But I did see that they dropped merch today for Halloween Horror Nights. Like, I think they started doing this last year where they started doing like the different shirt every so often. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time
and I feel like that's what this is.
Yeah. It was like every time they announced a new thing, or it was like every Friday there would be a new shirt reveal with it. So yeah, I kind of forgot that happened, but yeah, I guess it just depends if I get over there before the time we record the show, or if you get over there, one of the two of us, if we can pop in Universal, but it'll probably be me. It'll be me. Let's be real. It'll be me.
Between now and when the show goes up tomorrow?
Exactly. It'll have to be
I got to go get in a line tomorrow morning. It will not be me. And it's raining outside my house right now.
That's why I'm saying it's going to be me. There's no, because you're going to be on lightsaber duty. Duty.
It's going to be me. Duty.
It's going to be me. Yeah. So we'll try to get, but it's merchandise. It says Never Go Alone on it, and Halloween Horror Nights 2022 which it's sad. Then you'll never forget what year it is. But thank you for bringing that up, Ryno. I completely forgot about that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, and we'll start to talk about Hollywood, and you can double check on the dates. Again, we've been recording all day, so I know everything with Orlando, but I didn't check my email for Hollywood information, so I apologize for that. But just like with Orlando, the Twitter account and website Horror Night Nightmares, HN Nightmares on Twitter, revealed a speculation map for the houses in Hollywood, just like the ones in Orlando that we went over last week. And so we're going to just briefly kind of go over the ones in Hollywood because it's not all the same. It's different, and some are very, very interesting to me. So the one that is the same on both coasts that they have, not a surprise, The Weeknd. So The Weeknd will have an appearance not only in Orlando, but also Hollywood if these speculation maps come to be. And I think my favorite comment last week, I know, was someone thought that you were under the assumption, I believe, that The Weeknd was a band because you kept saying they or them, but I believe that's because you were being respectful of their pronouns in case that. But I read a couple articles, and I believe The Weeknd does go as he.
It's just it's a person. I know it's a person.
But you kept saying they, them over and over again, and it confused at least one person.
It's just easier for me to refer to people as they, them, whatever their preferred, because I feel like it trains my mouth better.
I completely agree with you too. I used to get yelled at for calling babies it's all the time. And I feel like,
look at it. Look at that thing in that stroller.
Look at it. And it's like, it's,
look at it.
So
it's like when you walk up to somebody with a dog, and I kind of do that thing where I'm like, oh, I got to tie my shoe, because you're looking to be like, oh, am I going to say what a cute little boy you are? Like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I feel like they'll get even more offended than babies.
Unless it's got a big old honking pear hanging off the back. It's like my dogs are so adorable. I love my dogs. Every single person thinks that they're both female, and it's not the case. And it's like, yeah. But I'm sorry to detract us away from it for that. It made me laugh when I saw that comment in it. But The Weeknd, also with their houses, Universal Monsters, of course, they have. They're predicting that it will just be the Mummy. So ours was the Wolf Mummy versus the Wolf Man, but. I feel like this one could maybe have a little bit of, heft under it, because if you kind of go back to, if you go back the year that we had our Universal Monsters house, they had the Mummy not the Mummy. They had Frankenstein versus the Wolf Man as theirs, where we had all of Universal Monsters. So there's not a precedent that we necessarily have the same monsters house as they do, and the same exact one. So, I love the Mummy. As I said, talking about the Mummy here, it's one of my favorite classic monster movies. So if I was to be convinced to go to Hollywood, that would definitely be one that could maybe convince me a little bit.
Oh yeah, no question. That's that was the one. Well, there's that one, and there's another one at Hollywood that I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be a little bummed out if we don't get it as well.
Well, we will get to that one. I want to talk about the last one that is also on our map. I know technically the Mummy is not, but close enough. But on the Hollywood speculation map, they also have the Evil Dead on there too, which makes me, when we talked about ours, we're like, it seems like could be a stretch, but we'd be okay if it didn't happen. The fact that it's also on Hollywood's has me worried that there actually might be a little bit of heft behind this rumor and speculation. Which I'm not super excited about it, but it's a classic horror movie, so they always like to have representation from that. So why not? But I don't know. I'm kind of bummed about that one. It's making me feel like it's more real.
I don't know what one you're talking about.
The Evil Dead.
Oh, that's legit going to happen because it's speculated in both places. Yeah.
Well, I mean, now I have to ask you, Ryno, is it because the internet dropped off, or you just are done paying attention to me?
No, I couldn't hear you for a second. My headphone connected to something else in the house for some reason. So I heard you say something, and then I heard you, and so if you had said The Evil Dead before, I missed it.
I get it.
I was waiting.
You don't want
for
to pay
the
attention
reveal.
to me anymore. You don't want to. I wouldn't listen. I don't want to listen to me either. I don't want to listen.
I'm
to
looking
me.
at the map.
They're looking at the map. So okay, we're almost to the one you want to talk about. Ryno, I'm lying. We're going to talk about that one last because we do wish that it was here. But I also want to talk about the other ones first. Before we get there, because it's interesting that how they pop up on the map. So they also have one on their speculation map, Scarecrow, which we've had Scarecrow before. I forget the full title of ours when we had it, but very interesting that it seems like they're getting a different take.
Did.
Yeah,
we had like the cornfield outside, right?
Yeah,
that was like 2016, 2017, maybe or something. It might have even been longer ago.
I
remember where it was. It was back like where the pumpkin, where Pumpkin and Puppet Theater were. It was back there.
Yep. Yeah, it was in one of the tents back there. So that's an interesting one on their map. Also interesting, of course, a house and a property that we love. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is on their speculation map. Yeah.
I see. I would be interested to go just to see the differences because I thought that house was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know, not to be rude, but I feel like in years of late, our event has definitely superseded their event, where in like the first time I ever went in 2015, I was blown away by like every house. And then in 2016, I was like, and then 2017, I was like, oh, what is happening? Yeah. And so I'm worried that this would be an empty hallway house.
Yeah. And well, I mean, that's a lot what happens in their houses, the dark hallways with just drop down windows. And I know that was our experience the last time we did it in Hollywood. And I went back to my video of the first time I did it in Hollywood in 2014 when I filmed every single house on the inside. And it confirmed like those houses were beautiful. And there was so much attention to detail in them. And of course, a little different. So a lot of the same stuff, like when you would go into a big room, it would kind of feel a little bare and empty, but provided a nice good walkway. But then in a lot of rooms, the detail and the refinement was just there, and so many characters. So it's, at least I know I'm not crazy that there definitely has been a degradation over the years in terms of that event and the quality inside the houses. But
it's funny, the year I went, they had that Guillermo del Toro, what was that movie he made that nobody saw? The haunted house movie.
Oh, yeah,
Tom
the
Tiddleston.
Yeah, the red. What?
It was red in the house, but it was like, and Alicia, the girl from Alice in Wonderland was the girl in it. I'm pretty sure.
Mia Wasikowska. Yeah,
Mia Wasikowska. Yeah, I was thinking of the girl from Ex Machina, but yeah, gosh, what the heck was the name of that thing? But I remember going through that house and being like, well, I'm never going to watch this movie, but this house sure is scary and pretty. Like, I think they let me film some of those houses, to be honest.
I was close. I was saying red.
Crimson
Peak. Crimson Peak.
Yeah, it was like Red Hill, Red House.
I knew it had something to do with red, but I meant in terms of this crimson. And yeah, Tom Hiddleston. The movie was not good. I know people who absolutely love that movie, but I'm starting to think that there's like, I think there's two camps. There's the people who just love everything that Guillermo del Toro touches, and then there's the people who are like, oh, that was actually a good movie. And I think I'm more in the one that every so often with his movies, I'm like, that was a good one. I like Pan's Labyrinth. I like The Shape of Water. And
there's no question he's a monster creature guy. He does a great job at making sure whatever thing he's involved with, the stuff always looks good. I'll say that. It always looks good, no matter, even if the movie's not great.
Yeah. Here. That's a great way to describe Nightmare Alley, nominated for an Oscar. But
I still haven't seen it.
It's so long. It's such a long movie. It's the best way to describe it. But also an original house there that started off, if I remember, as a scare zone in Hollywood. Then we got it as a house, and now a house for there too, La Llorona, which of course is a terrifying story that is a Mexican folktale. and terrifying. They made a movie about it a
Pulls
few
the
years
kids
back.
into the water.
Yeah, and I wouldn't recommend watching the movie. It wasn't the worst, but it didn't.
It had a
get me.
Scooby-Doo girl in it.
Yeah, and
From the event of Hawkeye's wife.
Yeah.
God, what the heck is her name?
I
am having, it's too long today, but I don't remember this house here. Was this pre-2015?
This would this would have been 2014. I want to say in Orlando.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I don't think it was 2013, but it was 20. It was either 2013 or 2014.
I feel like maybe a billboard or a sign rings like familiar to me. I mean, it's the lady in white. That's the kind of the classic story there. It's
This one was awful because I mean,
scary.
like you walked in and you saw the stream and the drowning, and then there was a moment there was one of the church moments, if I remember correctly, from it where there's all the pews and some people are sitting down, and then there will be one person
scary.
that pops up at you. And my memory is so vague just because it's been so many years.
Insidious did that.
And that's what I'm wondering. Maybe I'm thinking of Insidious, but not La Llorona. But I know I did La Llorona a lot, and I know that was when Sean was around because we loved that house. So, but everything else, it's kind of fuzzy. It's really I didn't start filming inside the houses, I believe, until 2014. So I'm guessing it was 2013, and it's all blur. It's all blur. But okay. So the last thing we'll mention before we get to the one you want to talk about, of course, their terror tram is, I don't understand it though. It says on the speculation map, terror tram, Hollywood Harry. So I don't know what that means.
I think that's the clown. That's the guy. I could be completely wrong, but when I did the terror tram in the story, it would have been the year I went, either in 2015. I think it was 2015. It was the year when, remember, all the clowns were coming out of the woods all everywhere, and people were like, "What is happening on the earth?" And they kind of made Hollywood. They made like a backstory about a clown who used to like work at Universal Studios Hollywood, and then he kind of like was shunned and disappeared, and he like terrorized people from the woods or something like that. And so essentially, it was all about like it was that was the backstory, and then they just it's like now he's come back with all these like crazy clowns or something like that. If that is Hollywood Harry, I don't know if that is him.
So I do believe you're correct. Thank you for talking, because it gave me enough time to look it up. It was definitely a year that I didn't go. When we did it in 2017-ish, I think that was the year we went, was 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Whatever year that was that I went with you, that year it was The Purge, was the tram tour. And
yes.
I believe it was, if I remember correctly.
No, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember going with you, and like, you remember we had to walk through like that tunnel at one part too. And it was because Purge was in like multiple areas in the park at that time.
And the first year that I did HHN in 2014, it was The Walking Dead was part of the tram tour too, and all the scare zones around the area. But my memory is so vague on it again. But with Hollywood Harry, you are correct. It is an original clown character for HHN Hollywood, and it was a part of 2016 Eli Roth Presents Terror Tram at HHN 2016. And then apparently it came back in 2018. Literally, it must have been 2017 for us, because it was right in that gap. But yeah.
Well, then the 2015 year I did the Terror Tram, it must have been when it was the Child's Play. Like it was because I know there was one year where it was Child's Play, and then I believe it was like Friday the 13th and something else. Because like I remember there being like Chuckies, multiple Chuckies when the tram stopped at one point. So that must have been that was definitely the 2015 year. But I have video of that Hollywood Harry. That's how I know I remember it. Like, it's not on the site because it wasn't one of those things that we did back then. So it's like, and it never will be. So don't anybody come to me looking for it.
No, I'm coming to you right after this show's over.
That was a personal trip.
Nope, I'm coming to you after the show's over. I'm getting all those details. But Ryno, the final house on their speculation map, because they only have 8 versus our 10, their final one is Nope, the new Jordan Peele
I thought you were going to
movie.
say, do you want to finally talk about that final house? And I was going to go, nope.
Hold on. Okay, let me set you back up for that again. Ryno, do you want to talk about that final house?
Nope. I'd love to.
Is it now? I believe, if I'm correct, this is a Jordan Peele movie, the biography of Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation, another classic Universal hit show.
Canope.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Silent K. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am very excited for this movie. I have loved Jordan Peele. I loved Us and Get Out. I think I actually like Us a little bit. Us is the one where I'm just like, the music and the Lupita Nyong'o is just so good in that movie. And I loved the Us house that they did here. I thought that was a lot of fun. That wasn't a triple house, right? It was just Us, wasn't it? Or was it a part? Was it one of those ones where it was a 3-part house because it was a part of something else?
I was half paying attention. Are you talking about in Orlando or in Hollywood?
In Orlando, the Us house. It was its own house.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was by itself.
But it was in the area where they've since done the multiple. It's like 3 houses in one a lot of times. Or it's
2 houses inside a soundstage. So I apologize for that. I have the answer on our terror tram when we're ready to get to that. But keep going on with Nope.
No, I loved the Us house a lot. It's one of those like that happened in 2019, and again I loved that year of 2019. But I thought it was just like I thought it was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of the good moments, and I don't know. I watched that movie probably at least once a year, I would say. I know it doesn't seem crazy considering it only came out like 3 years ago, but I've seen it. I think about it and I listen to the music every now and then and stuff like that. So I'm very excited for Nope, especially since it looks like it's probably about aliens. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, already this looks kind of cool and creepy. I kind of wish we were getting a house like this, and they're getting it out there. And so I'm a little jealous of that.
Yeah. No, I am jealous too. I'm hoping that it's going to make its way to Orlando as well too, and maybe it's just like one of those things right now where it's kind of in the middle of it, because these are speculation maps again. Anything can be wrong. It could be wrong for Hollywood. It can be wrong with ours in Orlando, or sometimes we don't get things at the same time. That's it. But something like Nope, that is a big property, and it would only make sense to take advantage of it on both coasts when possible. But crazier things have happened, so I'm also not going to say that it's guaranteed at all. It's not guaranteed in Hollywood, and it's not necessarily guaranteed here. But I sure would like it out here. I will say I was very hard on Us. When I saw it in theaters, was not. I loved Get Out. I thought Get Out was fantastic, and then I saw Us and I was like, it's not as good as Get Out, but it's good. But now I have completely flip-flopped on those movies, and I will watch Us at any point I pick up on it, and I will sit down and I will watch the whole thing, and I am still gripped by it. Whereas Get Out, I've tried to watch it a couple times and I'm like, it doesn't pack the same punch that it did the first couple times that I saw it. So I think, I think that's the beautiful thing about Jordan Peele's movies too, is that they do have a way of growing on you. And so I'm excited about Nope and the promise of it, but we can't go wrong if it's a part of the event. But before we wrap it up, Ryno, unless you have anything else to say about Nope. Nope. Set you up again. I got you. So the official answer is
I got you.
So Ryno, you do have video of the year of the Terror Tram that it was partly Chucky, because that in fact was the year that we went. In 2017, it was the Titans of Terror Tram hosted by Chucky.
Yes, because now that you've said Titans of Terror, I'm remembering that I think it was like Leatherface was on the patio or whatever you call it outside of the Bates Motel, and he was like disemboweling somebody. And now that I'm thinking about it too, I think the Terror Tram might have been Purge the first year I went in like 2015, or it was The Walking Dead. And but there was Purge stuff there. You aren't wrong. There was a tunnel that we walked through with Purge stuff the year we went to.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, because the Purge always gets thrown in. I'm kind of looking at photos from people. I know I have a brief amount of video from this section. I might have actually deleted it, though. This was a year that we went with our boss, Pete, and he he came expecting to want to enjoy the event, and we went into work mode immediately, and we're like just walking into the park to get to the studio tram tour in the Terror Tram. We were like filming everything, and he was slowly like, can we move on? Can we get to that? And then by the time we got on the tram tour and it started and we got dropped off at the first part, which was based on Chucky, and there was like all these Chuckies running around. At that point, when it took like they dropped off 2 trams in the time that it took us to like move a little bit. At that point, he said, okay, you're done filming this. Let's just be here and enjoy it. Jason Voorhees was there. Leatherface was a part of it too. And who else? Freddy Krueger was also in that. And those were the Titans of Terror. Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface.
Because I think Freddy Krueger was up by where the plane crash was.
Yes, I remember
it was supposed to be like the Nightmare or something, right? And there was like multiple Freddys up there with the claw, the hand with the knives or whatever. Yeah. No. I'll still say this. I do love the tram portion of it because, one, it's cool that you get to walk through the backlot area that normally you don't get to do that. But also, like, it's like an outdoor, you know, it's like a scare zone, I feel like, but with a little bit extra because you're just on these like sets. So I don't know. There's just something about it that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So with that, I mean, I feel like we've talked enough. We've gone over our last time in Hollywood. We're not going through all the houses there, but we've talked about the speculation map for Hollywood that you can find twitter.com/HN Nightmares. Follow them along so you know when all the new speculation maps come out for the event. And then, of course, all the details on tickets here for this year's event that have been released so far, including single-day ticket prices, Unmasking the Horror tours, as well as RIP tours. But, Ryno, I think that's it for us. Don't you feel like that's it? Nope. Jinx. You owe me a soda pop for that. I'm joking. I don't want that. You can owe me a beer for that one. At HHN, maybe even. How about that? That works.
Perfect. Pumpkin.
Hey, no. As part of the rules of Jinx, you cannot talk till then. So,
sugar.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's how it's going to be. So we'll wait a little bit. But okay, thank you so much for having this conversation with me, Ryno.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, gosh, dang it. You were just really breaking the rules of Jinx. It's okay. I set you up for that one. But no, seriously, thank you everyone out there for listening and watching. Thank you, Ryno, for having this conversation with me. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you really like the content, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to it, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if it's through like Spotify or Apple Podcasts that allows ratings, please leave us a rating if you're enjoying it. Or you could always book a trip through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again real soon with another episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still haven't changed the name.